Welcome, good evening. Thank you for joining us on this very rainy night. My name is Jonathan. I'm Head of Customer Success at Primary Tech, and I'll be talking you through tonight's Parents Guide to Google Classroom. This video will last roughly 35 minutes. Firstly, a little bit about myself. I'm a qualified teacher. I used to work in many schools in Hull before jumping ship and joining Primary Tech. At Primary Tech, we work with hundreds of schools nationally supporting Google and the use of technology in the education sector. Specifically, over the last year, we've been part of a select group nationally working with Google, Microsoft, and the DfE as part of the COVID response group. I'm also a Google for Education certified trainer, so I travel the country delivering lessons to various different schools, allowing them to get the best from the Google tools. Now, I think it goes without saying that last year has been really challenging, and specifically for schools. As a nation, we just weren't ready for this drastic change to teaching and learning. Teachers, parents like yourselves, and children have had to adapt really quickly to this digital world, and it hasn't been easy. But lessons have continued every day, and the schools are doing such a great job to get these lessons out to the pupils who are having to work from home. Now, over the past few months, we've been creating a plan with St Cuthbert's Catholic Academy Trust to enhance the use of technology, specifically for teaching and learning, not just in the here and now, because of the lockdown, but for the future, to make sure your children are digital citizens and be able to cope in the 21st century. That's why, over the coming months, we are continuing to work with St Cuthbert's in further training to enhance teachers' digital skills. This will provide great foundations for your own children's learning. This commitment from the Trust, and more importantly from the teachers at St Cuthbert's, has been outstanding, and collectively we're all looking forward to seeing future outcomes. In regards to today's session, we're focusing on remote learning and providing you, the parents, with more information on how this is being delivered across the Trust. In this video, we're going to look through various different aspects of Google Classroom, including accessing it on various different devices. The video is going to be recorded, and instructions can be distributed if there's anything that you are unsure of. So please sit back, relax, and get ready to learn with Google. Okay then, let's have a bit of a deeper dive into Google Classroom and let's find out exactly what it is and what we can do with the tools. So, Google Classroom, what is it? Think of Google Classroom as your child's digital link to learning. Teachers can use Google Classroom to share assignments, homework, newsletters, and more with the pupils and the parents. Google say that their classroom is mission control, and that's where most of the learning will take place. So essentially, you guys will need to get your children to log into Google Classroom, and we'll explain how to do this in the video later on. And once they've done that, they will be able to access all of their learning. And that can be access to Google Meet, which is the video conferencing tool that your teachers may use for live lessons. They may access all of the assignments or the different tasks that they want the children to complete. They'll also be able to see the feedback that the teacher gives them. So Google Classroom really will be your mission control. So why do the schools use Google Classroom then? Well, there's lots of different reasons, but mainly it's due to the remote learning being so important. As we've discussed, the Trust and all the different schools inside that are heavily invested in ensuring your children get the best learning possible. So they are entitled to this education by law, but they're also going to get these extra skills that are required by young people as they move into the workplace when they get older or into secondary school. So they've got the skills required to succeed in the 21st century. Alongside that, it will save paper, it will allow the children to receive feedback individually, it will allow the teachers to set work that is specific for your child. It allows the children to collaborate and communicate with their teachers and other pupils, and we know just how important that communication can be whilst these young people are not in school. They can access learning around the clock, which will help you guys. We understand how tricky it is for you as parents to be able to continue with this remote learning whilst trying to juggle your own lives, including your own jobs and maybe younger siblings, or maybe even older siblings as well, trying to deal with everything that's going on. So if you got access to this device, access to any device, access to Google Classroom is around the clock, so we can make that fit with your schedule. It's also very safe and secure. And on the next slide, I've got some more information about that. So schools in the trust do provide a robust online safety curriculum, and they speak with children regularly about staying safe online. If you do have any concerns, do speak to the designated safeguarding lead in your pupil's school. But there's also some links that we'll share after the session to Common Sense Media, who are a great website to look at when looking at privacy concerns or even information about other types of apps. They've got some information there. They've done a privacy checkup on Google Classroom. And as of Google themselves have got a privacy centre for the education sector. And that's got all information about how secure their pupils' data is, what information is shared with anyone, and how that is stored. So it is fully GDPR compliant. Okay, let's think about getting started then. So once you have got access to a device, and in this case, I'm going to be focusing mainly on laptops or Chromebooks. However, there will be another video afterwards for iPads, tablets, and phones, and you'll get access to those later on. But if you've got access to a laptop or a Chromebook, you will be provided with a secure login and password that will help you log in. If you don't have this, please make sure you contact the school. The school will have a unique login for each child, and they have to log in as themselves. Best practice at this point, especially if you are using a laptop that is maybe shared across the family, make sure that you have signed out of all other Google accounts. Otherwise, there may be some confusion when opening some links. So that's step number one. Make sure you've got your email address and password for your child, but also sign out of all of the other Google accounts. And then what you need to do is navigate to Google Chrome. Google Classroom will work in other web browsers, however, you get the best experience when using Google Chrome. This is a free browser that you can download if you don't already have it on your device. If you're on a Chromebook, it comes as standard. So find Google Chrome and open that up. From there, you can, if it's not already, type in www.google.com into your web address bar. This is the easiest way to find content. We're going to use the Google search engine, and we're going to sign in first. So once you're on the Google homepage and you've gone to google.com, in the top right, you will notice there is a blue box that says sign in. Please click on that. From there, you are able to type in your school email address. Now, this is individual for the pupil, as we've already mentioned. So make sure your child does know their email address. And this is a really good skill to have. Get them used to typing this in, get them used to finding the @ sign, and help them out on their keyboard or their touchscreen if they are needing to type that in. Obviously, if they are really young and you think they might struggle with this, you are more than welcome to help them out with this login process. Right, once onto this next screen then, you're going to need to input your password. This should have been delivered to you with your email address, so you should know your password. It will be a series of letters and numbers, so make sure you enter them carefully. Do double check that your 0 is not an O and that your 1 is not an L. Just check on that password. And if you do struggle, do let the school know, as they will be able to reset this for you. Now, you are signed in, so you might see an icon in the corner. It might be your initial. In my case, there's a small logo there, but you're signed into your Google Workspace for Education account. So what I want you to do then is navigate to the waffle, and it's called the waffle or the Rubik's Cube. What I need you to do is click on the 9 dots. It's in the top corner next to the sign in, and that's where you can access all of your apps on the web. And you'll notice when you click on there, there's a drop down you can see on the screen now. One of the options is Google Classroom. And that's what I want us to have a look for today. So do try and find that. There is another way. Once you're already logged in, you can just type in classroom.google.com google.com into the web browser, and that will take you there, providing you are already logged in with the child's Google account. There are some other icons that you might see that you might want to look for, and those of you that are using tablet devices, these are the ones that you're going to have to download, and there is a recommended list of apps at the end. So don't feel that you need to download every single one of these. Many of them are not really useful for you at the moment in this stage of your education. Some of them are reserved for administrators, so you wouldn't even be able to access them. However, you will see things on there like Google Docs. And that's Microsoft Word, but for Google. Google Slides is PowerPoint. Google Sheets is Excel. Google Forms is another area where your teacher might send you some work. So do bear that in mind. So once you've clicked on the waffle and you've found the classroom icon, we're ready to explore Google Classroom. When you first click into Classroom, you will see there are lots of different tiles. Each tile is a different class. It could be that your child is only in one class, and that's fine. You will just need to click on the class name. So in this case, there's different screenshot there from an American Google Classroom, 5th grade math. Instead, you might see year 3, or you might even see your class teacher's name. If you click on that though, that will take you into the classroom. And from there, you will see lots of different tools. So I've numbered them on here. Just move myself a little bit out of the way. There we go. So I've moved those on the screen. Now you can see all of the different numbers. So just to talk you through some of these, number 1, for example, at the very top, you can see on the screen when you first come into Google Classroom is the hamburger menu. The hamburger menu will take you back to all the other classes that your child is a part of. Number 2 is the name of the class, so you can just double check you're in the right place. Number 3, which is, you can notice that it's got a star, which is the announcement page. And the announcement page is something that is useful for you to view. The announcements page or the stream will allow you to see lots of different things inside the class, including assignments that have been set, conversations between your classmates and your teacher, and also other notifications that you might want to look at. So do browse through the stream. It appears in order of time posted, so the most relevant ones, the most newest ones will be at the top. Number 4 is where you can see your assignments. It's called classwork. Number 5 lets you see the other people in your class. Number 6 is that waffle that we've already explored, so you can use that to access other classrooms, other apps as well. So if you wanted to click on that waffle to access Google Docs, for example, you certainly could. Number 7, we'll just double check which account you're in. And do check that, because it could be that you're trying to access the classroom and you're logged into a different account. So double check. We did mention earlier that it would be best to turn off other accounts, to sign out of other accounts, but in this case, just double check by looking at where number 7 is on your screen there. Number 8, in that box on the left-hand side, will show you any upcoming assignments, anything that needs to be done next. In my case, it says, woohoo, no work due soon, but I'm sure my teacher would change that. Number 9, that is where you will see updates from your class. So we're in the stream, which is the number 3 icon, and we can see updates in there. Now, let's have a look at completing some work. So to access your work, you can click on the Classwork tab at the top, which in this case, on the image, it's labelled number 1. If I was to click on to number 2, which you can see on there where it says view your work, that will allow you to see all the work you have completed or all the work that you have got left to do. So view your work is at the very top of the screen, and that's a really useful tool just to check on pieces of work that you've done in the past, just to see if there's any feedback from your teachers. Number 3, they will open up a Google Calendar, and that integration will hopefully show you all of your work that's due in the coming weeks. Number 4 will take you to the Google Drive folder for your classroom, and that's where all your work is stored. Google Classroom is a fancy front end for Google Drive, so everything is stored in Google Drive. Number 5, their little, on the left-hand side, if your teacher sets work in topics, which the chances are they'll use the day, so you know which day you've got to click on, you can see the different topics on the left-hand side. Number 6, the big words there, the big bold titles, they're the topic headings, and inside each topic you will find various pieces of work. If we look at number 7, and you can click on that box where it says number 7, you'll see that is the the assignment title. Number 8 will show you the due date. We are encouraging all teachers to set a due date because that helps us with our analytics of the engagement within classroom. However, please don't be held to that. If, for example, there is a due date for Friday at 5 o'clock and you know for a fact that you won't get access to classroom because you're at work and you don't have access to help your child until 5:30, don't worry if your work says handed in late or if your work says missing. That is a Google Classroom sort of fail-safe in there. It's just a setting in the classroom that is automatic, but don't worry, your teachers will not be judging and looking at work that is handed in late as being negative. They will still mark it and check it as if it was handed in before the due date. So don't worry about the due date too much. It's more just so you know what's coming up next, and also so the teachers can check analytics. You'll see where it says number 9 there, the assignment status. So currently on the screenshot you can see on the screen, it says assigned. That means the work has been assigned to myself. And when your child has work assigned to them, that means they've got to do something. That status might say handed in, and that means your child has handed in that piece of work. If the status says returned, that means your child's teacher has given you the work back. So you've got to do some improvements or check the feedback. Where it says number 10, that's where you'll see all of the attachments or links that your child has to complete. And number 11, it will allow you to do a little bit more of a deep dive and view more information about the assignment in its own window. So to complete a task, you'll click on number 1, which is the classwork tab. You will navigate to the correct topic. You will find the assignment and click on it where it says number 7, click on the title, and then you'll click number 11 to view the assignment in more detail. Okay, let's explore the stream and the classroom in a little bit more detail. So I've logged into my classroom. I've followed the steps previously by clicking on the main menu to access the class that I am a part of. And you can see I'm in loads of classes here. This is more of a secondary school classroom environment, but don't worry, the work is still going to be set for you guys based at primary school level. So I'm in my classroom. It's got a strange name. You might see a different name up there with your teacher's name or your teacher's class name. And what I noticed straight away is underneath here, there is a Google Meet link. Now that link is a secure way for me to join a Google Meet with my class. And if that link is visible, the chances are I can click on it. Now I will have to be let into this meeting, so I can't click on it at any point. And the children can't click on it to join a chat with their friends if the teacher is not present. So I could click on that now, but instead I'm just going to have a look down the stream and see what's going on. So on the left-hand side, you can see there I've got 3 pieces of work at least to be due in on Thursday. If I click on the View All button, that would show me any other work as well. So it looks like I've got some work to do. My teacher, in this case, the test teacher, has said, don't forget to check the classwork tab for your work. And as a pupil, I can respond to this. Okay, I will do this now. And I can start a conversation there with my teacher and fellow classmates in here. Now, I've also, what's this? Everyone, we've got a class meeting at 9 a.m. Okay, well, that must be tomorrow because it's currently 10:08. So tomorrow I'm able to click on this link. And that link will take me straight to our Google Class meeting. It's the same link as what is visible above there. Okay, there's also some assignments that have gone out, look. So I've got different assignments to do. And I could click on them in here and view the assignment if I wanted to. Or another way, in fact, would be to navigate to the classwork section. We mentioned earlier on the topics. So I've got Monday and Tuesday there. So this looks like work from yesterday that I didn't access. So I might choose to do that one first. And I've got work for Tuesday to do. And there's different assignments in here that I can click into. I've also got the option again to join that Google Meet if I needed to, if it was coming close to that 9 o'clock time. I can click on the Google Calendar and that will open up the calendar in a brand new tab, and it will show me any work that I've got to complete. Just give that a reload while it resyncs the calendar. First time you've accessed it, there we are. You may have to do some configurations if you've never accessed the calendar before, and hey presto, we should now see our calendar list and any work that has to be in. It looks like the teacher in this case has set these assignments to be in by midnight. So there we go, there's the assignments I've got to do by Thursday at midnight. Now back into the classroom then, I've also got access, we mentioned, to the Google Class Drive folder. That will open up Google Drive for me. Just double check that you're still on the same account, so I'm still on Leo's account there, that's great. And I can see my work that I've got to complete in here as well. I'm going to go back into Classroom, I'm going to read the instructions. So let's do yesterday's work. It says here, click the link below to write a diary about your day, and it's assigned to me. Okay, well, let's just have a view of the assignment a bit more. Click the link to create a diary. Okay, I like writing diaries. So I can add a comment for my children to see, and everyone in the class can see me writing this in this comment here. There is another comment box over on the right-hand side that says private comments. And that is a message only to you and the teacher. So if I wanted to add a comment to the teacher, maybe ask a question about the work, how many pages should I write? And I wish in my kids' case that was a question they'd ask. They would do the bare minimum, but there we go. How many pages should I write? And now that's a message that's gone just to me and the teacher. And the teacher might respond to that, and the response would appear underneath this comment. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to have a look at actually completing this work. So let's click on the work that the teacher has set me. That's in the Your Work section. So I can click in here and it will show me my work. So here's my work now. Let's have a look. So today, let's get rid of any of these pop-ups that appear. First time you've used some of these tools. Today I went for a socially distanced walk. Oh, good job, I've got spell tools on here. Then I went home and had lunch. After that, I completed some school work. And obviously your children will be much better at writing diaries than I am. Once I've done that, you might notice there is a turn in button on the document itself. Feel free to click that button, or get the children in the habit of going back into the classroom and clicking the turn in button there. Everything within Google will save automatically, so there's no need to save the work. I just hop back into the classroom tab and I click turn in. And that will give me the opportunity to hand it in to my teacher. It might be that actually I want to attach something else to this piece of work. It could be a photo. In my diary, I said I went for a walk. Maybe we took a photo on that walk. So what I could then do is click on the Add button and I can add additional content to my Google Classroom. So maybe I then choose to add a file and I find that file on my computer. Maybe I add a link to something in my Google Drive that I've saved, or I could even create a new document to go alongside what I'd already written for my teacher. And there's the options that you've got on there. As it happens, I don't have a photo. I'm just going to turn this piece of work in. Are you sure I want to do that? Yes, I am. Turn it in. Good. And that will now say it's been turned in. And I can unsubmit it if I want that back, if I want to just make a correction to it, but the chances are I've finished. So now I can add a comment and say, I have handed this in, and press OK. Now let's go back then into our class and let's check on the classwork. Let's see what happens in here. So the status of that one was turned in. That's good. And I can see there it says turned in. Let's minimize that then. Let's have a look on Tuesday's work. Oh, it looks like I've got to do some maths and some science now. So let's click on here. Again, view assignment. This one is assigned to me. It says use the tool to label the sheet. Okay, so I've got to click on my work and let's find this sheet that the teacher's talking about. And it's going to open up in Jamboard. Oh, one's already been done for me, so I've got to recognise these shapes. Okay, now I think I can do this. I can use some of these tools on the left-hand side, such as the text box, which will allow me to type in here. I just had to count how many shapes that had there. Hexagon. Maybe I could use the pen tool to write on here. So this is a triangle. So I can write with I'm using my mouse actually, but if you had a touchscreen device, it would be really easy just to use your finger to be able to write with the pen tool. Triangle, look at this, terrific handwriting, please don't judge. I could even use a sticky note, and I know that I've got a square, and that's going to pop that square in there, and that's going to be the square. Okay. And once I've done and I've labelled all of them, obviously make sure you do get the children to complete all of the work. Again, I hop back into the classroom tab and I press turn it in. I might add a comment and say, I liked the shapes, I don't know, something along those lines. So the teacher sees that and hand it in. Oh, good, we really are rocking. Just an example of some other types of work then. Maybe I'll go back in here. Let's have a look in the classwork tab again. Parts of a flower this time. View the assignment. What do I have to do? Label the parts of the flower. Okay, click on the work. Okay, good. So that's, just dragging these around. One of them's there, the leaf goes there, the stem goes there. That actually might be somewhere else. Let's just tweak this a bit. It's one of those, isn't it? Again, saves automatically, hop back into classroom and turn it in. Good. We've done our work. Let's just check, have I got anything else upcoming? No work due soon. So I'm going to wait for my teacher to let me know when my next piece of work is. Let's fast forward a little bit. Maybe it's 9 o'clock in the morning now. I'm ready for my Google Meet. So what I will do then is click on the link that's visible. Maybe I'll click on the link at the top as well. And I'm going to go ahead and join the Google Meet. So in here, it's going to show me my camera. There's me. Hello. Obviously, I can turn my camera off and I can turn my microphone off, which is good practice when you first join a meeting. I can then join now. Now, what it's going to do is if it's waiting for my teacher, it wouldn't let me in straight away, as it has in this case. So it's let me dive straight into this meeting because I've got a different account. But if you were a child account and your teacher's not in the meeting, it wouldn't let you in. Once you're in the meeting, you've got the option to turn your microphone on or off. Red is off. Same with the camera. You can hang up and leave the call at any time by clicking the phone button. You can raise your hand if you have a question and your teacher will get a notification, and you'll notice there's a little hand icon in the corner that signifies you've got your hand up. If you wanted to lower your hand, that would go away. You've also got the option to chat with your class, and you can type a message. So maybe your teacher sends you a message, you can write a message in the chat, and you can view other messages that are in there as well. And then once you've finished, you can hang up the meeting. Like so. Now, my teacher has been busy and marked my work for me. So what I'm going to do is show you what the next process is. So you've finished your work, you've handed it in, and that's done such a great job. I can obviously come back into my classroom and check the stream. If there's no comments from my teacher in there, that's fine. Let's see on my classwork then. If I click where it says view your work, I'm able to see the 3 different statuses. So where it says assigned, I've got nothing for me to do. When it says returned, now I do have 2 pieces of work that have been returned back to me. Let's have a look at the diary one first of all. So my teacher has, Leo said, how many pages did I write? Oh, he's handed this in. My teacher's left me a voice note. How exciting. So I can click to listen. It might open up in a new tab, and that's fine. It might ask me to add it. Don't worry, just press play.
Well done, Leo.
Leo. You've done such a fantastic job with... And that will play the voice feedback. I'm not sure if that came through on the video or not, but I can press play and listen to all 16 seconds of my teacher's comments. And as it happens, my teacher asked me to check inside the document, so I'll do that now. And let's see, the teacher's highlighted some bits in green. That means that they liked those bits. Oh, and there's some bits there in yellow that I need to click on. Let's have a look. I say, oh, again, it's a voice note. So what did my teacher say here? Click to listen. What did you have for lunch, Leo? Can you please expand? Try and include some adjectives to describe your lunch. Okay, so I've got to add some adjectives to describe my lunch. I had a delicious lunch which consisted of a ham sandwich and a beautiful packet of Walker's crisps. You get the idea. And then I'd be able to check on the next comment as well. So there's another note for me to listen to based on this one. And if I click, it will highlight which note I need to do. Well, I've done that one. So let's say I've done that one. That's great. This one here, again, let's listen. Listen to what my teacher says. Press play. What schoolwork did you do? Can you please... Okay, so I need to label what schoolwork I did. And then I could go and finish that. Once I've done, again, I can press turn in, or I can hop back into the classroom and make sure I can then hand it back in again in the resubmit button. And that's now going to go back to the teacher for them to check that I've done that extra feedback. Let's hop back into the classwork tab, view all my work again. Anything else that's been returned to me? This one, which is labeling the sheets. Okay, let's view the details. Let's have a look. Again, a voice note, so let's click to listen. Well done, Leo. You've got hexagon, circle and triangle right. Good boy. And square, now that I notice. Can you just check the other shapes that you've missed? What's the five-sided shape called? Okay, so I've got to label the five-sided shape. So again, I can click on this. It's going to open up for me. And I'm able to then to make the correction. Oh, look, the teacher's put some ticks on here for me. That's good news. I've got to do the five-sided shape. Now I've remembered that this is indeed a pentagon. So I can write that on there. And I can then go ahead and resubmit. Good news. And let's just have a look back in my work again. View my work. Was there anything else? Parts of a flower. So this one hasn't actually been returned back to me yet. My teacher hasn't given it back for me to do. It must mean that there's nothing for me to complete, but that's fine. I can have a look. Is there any feedback on here? Not at this moment in time. There's no feedback from my teacher on there just yet. So maybe the teacher hasn't got around to marking that, or there's nothing else for me to do. Quite often the teacher will just say, well done, you've done a great job, and nothing else needs to be handed back in. The real benefits of Google Classroom are that you can access this anywhere on pretty much any device. There are a list of devices that we will find you get a better experience on. For example, whilst it will work using a PlayStation or an Xbox, you might not have the same experience, and it might be a little bit tricky for your young children to access on those types of devices. It will work on Android phones or tablets, iPhones, iPads, any other type of tablet you've got access to, and obviously the desktop via a laptop, a PC, or a Chromebook. By getting the Google apps on these different devices via the App Store or the Google Play Store, you are able to edit Google assignments and access your work from anywhere. Now, the list of apps that you are going to need will include the following, and do make sure you get all of them, even if your teacher doesn't necessarily use some of these apps, just in case in the future you might need access to them. Obviously, Google Classroom is the big one. Get that app as well. You will need Google Drive. If your teacher sends something in Jamboard, it will try and open in Google Drive first before moving into Jamboard, so make sure you've got that app as well. You will need the Google Meet app, which will allow you to access the video meeting calls with your class. Do get Google Docs and Google Slides because they're really useful tools for editing documents, for writing, typing, and creating presentations. Jamboard, as you've seen already, is such a versatile tool with the pen and the ability to add text boxes in. And then obviously get Google Chrome just for good measure. So do make sure that you have all of those apps downloaded to your device. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to learn a little bit more about Google Classroom. This video will be available for you for the foreseeable future, so you can refer back to it and pause it at times when you think might make it a little bit easier for you to follow along. It will go live on a separate site built just for you at the St. Cuthbert's Roman Catholic Academy Trust. All of the parents will have access to this site. You can see it on the screen behind me at the moment. And the idea is this site will help you with your child's remote learning. You will have access to the video, to the presentations that we've created. You will also have access to lots of different videos, including more detailed videos about how to access these resources on an iPad or on a particular device. You'll also have access to videos from other sources, help guides from Google that you might find relevant, and also some of the other tools that we might well choose to utilize. This will be updated over time, as will the section for links. So it becomes your one-stop shop, essentially, allowing you to refer back to this at any point if you need any help and support. If you cannot get on Google Classroom for whatever reason, please contact your school. They will be able to help. The teachers do such a good job of utilising technology and getting these lessons ready so your children can carry them out at home. So please support the school, please support the trust, and help us to ensure your children get the best from their education in this very, very difficult situation. Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for this video. It has been a real pleasure introducing some of the remote learning tools that your trust and your schools are going to utilise in the coming weeks. I look forward to seeing the engagement at each school and how this has helped education move on. Thanks again. It's been a real pleasure.